Give everybody time to get ready. Lindsay, were we waiting on anybody else or Corey? Okay. You folks ready? We'll go ahead and get started. I'm Walton County Sheriff Mike Atkinson, joined by numerous individuals here today, including Superintendent Russell Hughes, Chief Deputy Dustin Cosin, and Chief James Hurley of the Phoenix Springs PD, along with Head of School Security Charlie Morris and various other folks as well with the State's Attorney's Office and the school district. Just going to real briefly give you a summary of the events that happened this morning at Walton Middle School. I'm not going to go into great detail. It is still under investigation. There's numerous things that we need to get answers to, and I want to give you answers. I want to be as transparent as possible. But the worst thing I can do is tell you something that's not factually accurate. So I'm going to slow down and make sure that what we say is accurate first. We will take some questions, but again, very limited. We anticipate holding a press conference tomorrow. So here's what we know as of this time. Approximately 7:17 this morning, a suspect who is a student at Walton Middle School was dropped off at the entrance of Walton Middle School. The school was not open at the time. It's not normal school hours. It's early drop-off pickup. There were probably 40 students total, something like that, in the school. The student walked, who is ultimately the suspect, walked directly into a bathroom down a hallway. From the time he enters until he walks out of that bathroom is about 2 minutes and 40 seconds. When he walks out of the bathroom, he's masked and is armed with a sharp implement, where he suddenly attacks the first student he comes in contact with, stabbing him multiple times. He then subsequently separates from that individual. The victim runs. The suspect goes down a hall, attacks a teacher. She suffered injuries, a paraprofessional suffering injuries. He continued running down the hallway, at some point making contact with a third victim who was also a student. That individual was stabbed. At this point, the first victim was incapacitated because of these injuries, where a teacher was rendering aid. The suspect fled the scene. He was ultimately encountered by officers of the Phoenix Springs Police Department, actually Chief Deputy Cosin as well. They took him in custody in fairly close vicinity of Walton Middle School. All right. Immediate life-saving aid was being offered and rendered to the two most seriously injured individuals. We had multiple ambulances there, as well as Phoenix Springs and Walton County Fire Rescue. One victim was life flighted to Pensacola, another taken to Fort Walton Beach Medical, which is a level 2 trauma center. The third, the paraprofessional who did not sustain life-threatening injuries, was also taken to Fort Walton Beach Medical Center. At this point, there's no further danger to the public. This individual is in custody. He's being interviewed at the Walton County Sheriff's Office. We're going to make decisions on what is the appropriate charge, and that'll ultimately be the decision of the State's Attorney's Office. Here's what I want to say to you, and just very, very briefly, I'm not going to speak on motive, I'm not going to speak on anything else other than this. There is no extended risk to the public. This was handled very quickly from the time of this incident. Again, approximately 7:17, this individual, the suspect, was in custody within about 7 minutes. The entire attack, the entire actual physical attack, took place in less than about 45 seconds. So as you can imagine, this happened very, very quickly. There was tremendous coordination with the Walton County School District, with the Phoenix Springs Police Department, and with our State's Attorney's Office. Everybody here worked very closely. The SRD and the school guardian were both on scene at the time this attack actually took place, just in different locations. Most students were not at the school, as I said before, maybe only 40 students there. They were reunified at another pre-planned location. I think that went really smoothly, all things considered. We were able to try and get information out to the parents and out to the public. This is the worst thing you can deal with as a sheriff, as a school professional, the police department, any one of us. This is what we all fear. And so we're going to do our best to do this correctly and do it right and be sensitive to the victims and their families. And with that, Mr. Hughes, is there anything that you wanted to address or touch on?
Just thank you, Sheriff, and Sheriff detail all of the specifics. Very difficult day for us. Children are our life, and we appreciate all the heroic things that a lot of people did standing around the Sheriff's Department, the police department. And then we had teachers. As the sheriff said, we had teachers, we had guardians on site. They were right there. The student got out of the car from his parents like a normal day, so there were no indicators that gave any light on this was about to occur. The sheriff again gave the details of how long it took. But I want to thank the parents for entrusting us with this. We got all the publications out as soon as we could to make sure everyone that was possibly impacted, every child and their families would know what was happening. As Sheriff said, there's about 40, maybe 50 students on campus, so we kept most of the students on the buses because they had not been dropped off yet. Took them to our reunification site so that we could make sure all the parents could get them and let the parents and guardians of the victims know as soon as possible what we were dealing with. So I want to just thank the sheriff and let the community know that we understand how difficult it is. We're in the kid business, and it's a challenging day, but do want to thank, there are a lot of heroic steps made, the planning that we do to make sure that children have a safe place to go to school on a daily basis. As difficult as it is, we're grateful for the things that happened today for those who were in position where they were supposed to be, so that we could minimize any of those things. Thanks, Sheriff.
Thank you. Just three things I want to touch on just real quickly. One, we would reiterate that I think as well as could be expected, the planning went forward, right? It's particularly in regard to responding, giving aid, and the reunification of parent and getting information out. So that's a good thing. We're asking the public to please, let's tamp down and hold back some of the wild hyperbole, some of the wild speculation about some of this stuff. It serves no purpose to anyone. And I realize that may fall on deaf ears, but this is such an emotional issue. But I would just caution you not to draw conclusions when you're in the absence of evidence, right? It is not good for anybody. And so I will at least try and say that. And then lastly, we're going to give you much more information tomorrow at a press conference, but I want to make sure that we're right, that we're thoughtful about what we do, and that we're professional in the way we do it. Chief, was there anything that you wanted to add, or anybody from your staff?
I just want to say that, we, upon receiving the 911 call, two of my units were on scene within 2 minutes. Once on scene, they learned more from the staff that was there about the suspect fleeing. That's where the coordination between Phoenix Springs Police Department and Walton County Sheriff's Office working together as close as we normally do. We were able to catch our suspect within 7 minutes. So that's pretty good timing. But this is our small town. This is our community. We all grew up with each other. We know each other. The suspects, the victims. It's just a tragic thing that our children shouldn't have to witness. And that's going to be the hard part. So just make sure you hug your kids tight and pray for our community.
Just real briefly, we'll entertain any questions that do not get into either motive or some of those things that we're just not going to be able to answer. We'll do that tomorrow. But is there something that I did not address factually today that you want me to address?
What's the grade of the student that was arrested?
They are all in the seventh grade is what we understand this morning. Yeah.
What are the ages of the people involved, the suspects and victims?
12 to 13 years of age. And then the paraprofessional is an adult. Okay.
Do we know if the suspect had any prior?
Not going to discuss that at this time. And listen, I need to be right with this. All this has just happened. Had not had time to ascertain the records. There's good coordination, but our first responsibility, A, was to catch the suspect, render aid to the victims. So everything else is secondary. We're not in a rush at this point.
In terms of the aid to the victims, do we have any updates on their health right now?
They are two are in serious condition or critical condition, and at this point, that's really all I want to elaborate on for that.
What was the mask that the suspect was wearing?
It's balaclava, which is a partial face mask that exposes just the eyes. And the charges, we'll do that in consultation with the state's attorney's office. What is the appropriate charge today? I'll also caution you that whatever charges you see today are not necessarily the charges the state may decide to do later. That's a process. And so a lot of times the public sees a charge and they assume one thing, why weren't they charged this way, or why? This is a process, and that's where the state attorney's office is really good to making sure that we get the appropriate charge for this case. And if there's no, yes, sir.
Has there been any consideration as to school the rest of the week?
our intention is to get children back in school as soon as possible. School is a safe place, and that's where we want them. The parents need to be able to drop them off and go to work. So as soon as we get the site where we can get back in, we'll get there.
And we'll be through at the school. Our intention is to be through at the school processing that and available for cleanup today. That is our plan. So nothing else. We're going to hold any further questions unless there's anybody else. Last call. Okay, then we're going to deal with the rest of this tomorrow and have more information. So thank you for your time and your professionalism.
I think that's what that was. I started asking that question.
I'm coming right back up. Okay, so it goes in all the lights. Okay, give me 2 seconds.
With all the changes to the prison